Welcome to Summer Vegetable Medley. This is banging, it's class. We're gonna get loads of portions out of it and it's easy to do.
We're gonna show you a tip at the end of how to turn one beautiful dish into a second dish. So we put all our ingredients in Super Value this morning. It cost us 18 euros, which you might go, oh, that's a lot of money, but it's gonna serve over 10 dishes. So it'll work out under 2 euros per portion. So still very cheap, great way of getting you to eat more veg, and it's simple.
And as you can see, we're covering a huge amount of different vegetables in this one. Okay, so first step, let's get started.
We've preheated our oven to 180 degrees. I'm gonna take a full head of garlic. We're gonna roast garlic, and this is gonna be the prime developer of our flavor. I'm chopping the top off so that it's just gonna open up the flesh, so we're gonna roast them nicely.
Okay, so the nature of our vegetable medley is that the vegetables are nice and chunky. So we've got about 3 to 3.5 kg of vegetables, and I'm gonna chop them up nice and chunky and pop them into a baking tray.
So then goes our red onion, white onion, garlic. Typically these are your base vegetables, which are gonna help develop flavor for the dish. And you see Dave is going nice and chunky. Okay, you're probably gonna need about 3 baking trays because there is, as Dave mentioned, 3.5 kilos of veg. So first up, we're gonna chop our veg and then we're gonna oil and salt it before we bake it. Okay, in terms of carrots are actually more dense than a potato and will take longer to cook. So we're gonna chop these just slightly smaller so they bake quicker. Typically all this veg, we're gonna put it in for about 40 minutes for it to really stew, caramelize, develop flavors, and yet be soft and succulent on the inside.
Have we preheated the oven?
Yes, we preheated the oven to about 200 degrees Celsius.
Okay, we've got peppers. I'm gonna chop our peppers nice and chunky as well, keeping in with the whole medley theme.
They really are going big and chunky.
So we've got a full kilo of baby potatoes. I've just literally chopped them in half. We're gonna pop them in a baking tray with a bit of salt and a little bit of oil.
Okay, now for the fun bit. Okay, if we roast the veg as is, you know, it'll bake, it'll caramelize, it'll go pretty nice. But by the addition of salt and oil, it's gonna just help the vegetables reach a higher temperature, caramelize nicer, and just taste even more succulent. Obviously, if you wanna go oil-free, leave it out, but the salt and oil really does impart more flavor.
Just simply get your hands and give all the veg a good mix.
Okay, so we've preheated our oven, as I said earlier there, to about 200 degrees Celsius. We're gonna bake these for about 30 to 40 minutes until they're soft, and we're kind of simple things that are gonna take longer to cook our carrots and potatoes. So they're the main indicator that everything's ready. As these overcook, they're just gonna brown and caramelize more, and there's enough moisture in the oven to ensure that nothing kind of overly browns.
So oven is preheated to 200 degrees. We're gonna pop them in and bake them for approximately 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, so our veg have been in the oven for about half an hour. It's now time to make our couscous. So I've got 500 grams of couscous.
This is wholemeal couscous. Worth choosing the wholemeal, it'll just be higher in fiber.
I'm gonna add in a decent little pinch of salt. And I'm literally, the thing with couscous, which is so practical, it takes 5 minutes to make, and you're literally just covering it in boiling water and leaving it sit. So just cover it a centimeter above it and pop a plate on just so that it steams within and puffs up even more.
Okay, I'm gonna show you a quick trick to make our little sauce that's gonna be beautiful. As Dave mentioned, our veg have been in the oven for about 35 minutes. I'm gonna take out our leek and our roasted garlic. So here's our head of roasted garlic. I'm gonna pop that down. Just be careful, it is a little hot. And then I'm gonna take the leek that we chopped up smaller. So the leek that's chopped up smaller, I'm gonna take a spoon and I'm literally just gonna scrape it into a pestle and mortar. If you don't have a pestle and mortar, just chop it into a blender. And just pour it into a blender.
And I'm just gonna take the garlics out of the roasted garlic, individual cloves out, take off the outer skin and pop them into the pestle and mortar too. You might need to leave the garlic head cool. Our hands are pretty good with heat because we've been cooking for so long.
Okay, so we've got our leek, we've got a full head of roasted garlic, and as I mentioned, might seem like loads, but don't worry, it's beautiful. Nice generous pinch of salt, and I'm gonna put in about 5 tablespoons of oil. So in essence, we're kind of making a leek and roasted garlic pesto. Take our pestle and mortar. If you don't have a pestle and mortar, just simply use a blender and just pulse it.
Okay, so we're just gonna take our veg out of the oven. The oven's been turned off now.
Oh wow, lovely. Wow, looks great, doesn't it?
Okay, so we're gonna start by putting some couscous into a bowl, whatever we're gonna serve it with.
So if your couscous, which like ours just feels a little clumpy, just literally get a kind of spoon out or a fork out and you're just softening it up. We're gonna land that down as the base.
I'm gonna pop in some mixed leaves, just a little bit. It's just gonna give a nice pop of color.
In on top, we're gonna go with our various roasted veg. So I'm gonna go with some leek, some peppers. Oh, the cherry tomatoes look seriously caramelized and juicy and gooey. They're gonna add moisture where moisture is required. Courgettes often people think are bland and awful, but when you grill them like this, they end up so gooey and sweet and just melt in your mouth. Some roasted spuds. And then to top it off, just take a little bit of roasted garlic pesto and just kind of drizzle it, just slowly kind of get it over it. And that's gonna impart a huge amount of flavor and add that extra kind of bit where you're kind of like, oh, what's that? What's that?
So out of this dish, you're probably gonna get about 5 servings. It'll probably serve about 5 people. That's with the couscous, the veg, and the roasted garlic pesto. Our next tip is gonna be perfect thing to use for all the leftover roasted vegetables. Okay, so we bought a bunch of pizza bases in Super Value this morning. We've got 2 of them. We've left our oven on.
Just show you quickly how to make a nice simple pizza. So take our dough out.
I'm gonna, instead of using chopped tomatoes or passata, we have sun-dried tomato pesto in the fridge. I'm gonna pop a shallow little gentle layer of this on top.
If you don't have pesto, just use passata or chopped tomatoes. Just add a little bit of salt and possibly a little bit of sweet to balance the acidity. So these obviously don't have to be made on the day. Just store your roasted veg in the fridge and the next day take out your pizza base, take 10 minutes and it's a simple, quick, delicious dinner.
Okay, boom. Now it's just time to add our veg on top and really just take our pizza to the next level. Okay, so we've got a pizza stone in our oven. Obviously, you don't need a pizza stone, but it's a lot easier with one. So, oven is preheated, it's still at 250 degrees. I'm literally gonna transfer our base onto our pizza stone. Okay, so we've plated up all the rest of our couscous and vegetable medley. Our pizza's been in the oven for 15 minutes and it's smelling class and ready to serve.
Oh wow, looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, look at that, so it looks great. So the way you'll know your pizza is cooked is just when the edges start to go golden and brown and look crispy.
Okay, something I love on top of my pizza is definitely a little bit of leaves. It just helps make everything pop.
And if you are into a little bit of spice, a little bit of chili just goes a long way. It'll just add a little extra pop of flavor.
There you have it. So we've got at least 10 portions of dinner from that, from all those vegetables. It's less than €2 per portion. It's tasty, it's super. It'll last you a number of days during the week.
The veg medley is super elegant. Like it's very light, like you're tasting the vegetables for what it is. And the roasted garlic sauce just adds an extra element to make it seem like, wow, this is a delicious dinner.
The pizza actually makes it last an extra couple of days. We obviously didn't make up one of our pizzas, but it can be done for the 3rd or 4th day down the line. There you have it, summer vegetable medley. More than 10 servings, cost you less than €2 per person. And thanks for watching.